The 2023 Guide of Making an Epic Scientific PowerPoint Presentation. This is part 2, the step-by-step guide. Step 1. Budget the number of slides that you will prepare for your presentation. A typical rule of thumb is to prepare 1 slide per minute. You should also budget the number of slides that you will use for each section. I usually budget 20% for introduction, 15% for conclusion, and 60% for the main content of your presentation. But wait, that's only 95% total, so where does the last 5% go? I will get to it in a minute. Hello, welcome to Dr. XY's channel, where you can find fun facts and useful knowledge about genetics from a board-certified clinical laboratory geneticist. I'm giving a genetics talk at a conference in St. Louis, so I'm inspired to make this video. So we just went over step 1 and you budgeted the number of slides. Step 2 is to pick out a template. You can go to your company's, your organization's marketing website. Usually there are templates already prepared for you. However, if you prefer to make your own or if you have to, just to make sure that your template is simple, it has large open space, it has a color theme that's consistent with the main object for your presentation, typically is your logo. And last is that there is no vivid neon color as part of the background template. Step number 3, come up with your punchline. What is the main message you want your audience to remember from your presentation? I know we sometimes don't want to overstate our statement. We don't want to come out too strong, but you don't want your audience to sit through your presentation and at the end they just think, oh, it's interesting, but so what? Even when people host an open-ended discussion, at the end, somebody usually come on stage to give a summary that strings everything together. So do work on your punchline. You don't want to give a presentation that's just descriptive. Step number 4, come up with a take-home message for each slide. I know some of us just loves to plot graphs and make beautiful figures. So hold a minute. For each slide, you first have to come up with a focal point. What is the key point of that slide? Come up with that before you spend all the time work on the details of the graphs to make sure that you're not wasting your time. Step number 5. Now you've come up with the key point, the focal point of your slide. Now you can fill in content. What you want to achieve is that within 5 seconds that you are showing the slide, even without the presenter's explanation, the audience should get the gist of the slide. So how to achieve that? You achieve that by prioritizing what to put on your slide. Your number 1 choice is always going to be images and pictures that virtually takes no time for people to comprehend. Your second best choice would be figures and graphs. These are very common for scientific presentation, and it's best that these are in a format that your audience are familiar with. They don't have time to learn about a new way of graphing something and learn about what you are showing them. You may just have 1 slide where you have to hold your audience hand to walk through the figure and to explain everything. However, if you have multiple slides that you have to do that and they're all different, your audience are going to be exhausted quickly and you're going to lose them. The second last choice would be short phrases, and your last choice would be long, full sentences. To learn more about what to avoid when preparing a scientific PowerPoint presentation, check out part 1 of this video, where I went through 7 surprising mistakes people make. Now we come to step number 6. Adjust the colors on your slide very intentionally. Now you have a rough draft. Take a step back and look at your slide and think about where you want your audience to put their eyes on first. It could be a text, it could be a specific data point. Adjust the color to be vivid color at that special point. This color is not going to be part of your template color theme, which is why they're going to stand out, and which is also why you should use it very intentionally and sparingly. Step number 7, prepare your acknowledgement slide. Now you've spent 95% of your time preparing for the presentation. We come to the 5% of the time that one should use to prepare for acknowledgement. So 5% here is not a strict number. What I'm trying to say is that this is a section of your presentation that deserves true effort. Sure, your audience would not know most of the names on your acknowledgement slide. However, a great acknowledgement slide will make your project appear more significant. And when you take the time to acknowledge someone, you appear collaborative, collegial, and grateful. You never know, your future coworkers might be sitting in the audience, or perhaps this is a job interview presentation that you were doing. Step number 8. Now the whole presentation is done. Practice, practice, practice. Practice your introduction, your transitions. Avoid filler words that are like and Avoid pauses that don't do anything, and plan places that you would pause to intensify your message. Step 9. This is optional, and that is to prepare a script. A script is particularly helpful when you have a lot of content to present and they're complex, but you only have maybe 10 minutes. A script can help you strategize the most efficient way to explain a complex problem. Phew! Thank you so much for sticking to the end with me. So there you go, the 9-step guide, your 2023 guide of making an epic scientific PowerPoint presentation. And if you want to hear more about the 7 surprising mistakes people make when preparing for presentation, check out part 1 of the video. If you find today's content to be helpful and useful, click like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for visiting, and I will see you next time.